Hello, everybody. How are you doing? All right, so we were in Townsend, Tennessee. We had a wonderful trip. Come home and start editing some videos. I want to put a video out of when we went tubing down the river in Tennessee, there in Townsend. We captured a lot of video, but something happened. We lost a lot of it. So what you're about to watch is going to be what we could salvage. And unfortunately, a lot of that video, the audio was gone. So you're going to hear me voice over a bunch of that footage so that you can actually hear a little bit of information. And I'm going to give you some pointers and some tips on what we did, how we did it, and just the fun that we had. So just a precursor, we had a great time while we were tubing the river. We used River Rat there in Townsend, Tennessee. Highly recommend that you check out their website right here. And it will give you all of the information that you need to know. I will give you some information as you're watching Billy float down the river, because he is the one who has the camera the whole time. And the footage that we could recover. So you're going to get to see his lovely knees and his lovely feet the whole time that we're kind of rolling down the river. Spoiler alert, we get separated about halfway through and I get stuck on rocks. Fortunately, that video is not there, but I was stuck in some rocks, couldn't get out of them. It was the joys of tubing. It was a lot of fun though. So let's roll that beautiful footage of us floating down the river, and you will hear my voice giving you some pointers and some information on how to go about your adventure on the Little Pigeon River there in Townsend, if you so choose to do it. Let's go. So here we are. We just got in the water. Billy is ahead of me in this part of it. I had a little bit of a hard time getting into the tube at the start, just because it's been probably 30 years or more since I've been tubing. So anyway, let's get into a little bit of information on the tubing and how to do it. We used, like I told you a few moments ago, we use River Rat tubing. They are located right there in Townsend. They're probably one of the biggest and well-known of the tubing companies in the area. So if you want to go tubing and you want to use River Rat, there's a couple of things that you really have to remember. And one of those is you have to do all of your reservations online. So they only allow a certain number of tubers in the water at one time. So they let you go in groups. And so when you're setting up your reservation, you have to choose a time. You also have to sign a waiver for everybody in your party. So if you have several people in your party, one person is the person that's going to make the reservation, and you're going to fill out all the information for each one of the people in your party, and you are responsible for making sure that they sign their waivers, and there's a brief video that they have to watch, and it's basically just really the basics if you've never been tubing, to be honest with you. How to get in, how to get out, how to kind of avoid some obstacles, and just to kind of generally to be safe. So everybody has to sign that, and as the person that makes the reservations, you are responsible for that. So they text you a link, and then you text it to everybody else and have them sign their waivers as well. When you get to the outpost there on Wares Valley Road in Townsend, whoever made the reservation is the one who goes and gets all the armbands. So you'll go in and check in. They'll take your name. They'll verify everybody in your party and hand you the right number of armbands. And you're doing that in their store. So they're at the main outpost. They have bathrooms. They have lockers for rent. They have a little restaurant if you want some food and some snacks. And it's also free parking there. So in that store, there's a few things that you can purchase if you have forgotten them. Waterproof pouches, water shoes, push sticks, and little paddles. And if you're laughing when you're like, oh, push stick and a paddle, I didn't think I was going to need a push stick or a paddle, but apparently I am vertically challenged when it comes to tubing, because my arms were not long enough to comfortably reach over the back of the tube and paddle myself wherever I needed to move myself to avoid rocks. So if there was a rock in the river, I hit it. Every single rock between the entry point and the exit point probably has my tush print because I have bounced off all of them. It was hilarious. But keep that in mind. So you may want something to help kind of push you around if the water is a little bit lower. You can check the water levels right there on their website so that you can see if the water is up. That means that you're going to have a little bit of a faster ride just because there's more water and it's moving a little bit faster. If the water is lower and more shallow, you're going to have more rock that you're going to tend to hit, and your ride's going to be a little bit slower. So keep that in mind when you're trying to plan your day. There at that main outpost is where the 2 mile float is. So anybody 3 and over can ride that one. And if you have a dog up to 50 pounds that you want to ride with you, as long as you have signed a waiver for them, you can also have your puppy dog ride and float down the river with you. So that was a lot of fun. We did see a couple of dogs out there floating the river with their owners, and it was a lot of fun to watch them have fun and bark at the geese and the things along the side of the creek. So something that you will also notice is down through both routes, everything on the edges that you're passing, all the property is private property. There are spots on each route that you can get out and swim. It is a river rat approved swimming area. And you can get up on the rocks and you can jump there, you can swim, you can get out of your tube. But any other time they ask you to not get out of the creek because you are in private property. You will love seeing a lot of these properties. They're beautiful. A lot of them are for rent. So you can get their information if you want to rent a house with, you and your family or your friends, whatever, and have a good time right there on the river itself. And you will notice there's a few places as we pass through in the video that there's probably some shenanigans happening at some of these. Show us in the comments which one which one of these properties you think the most shenanigans happen at. We've already discussed it, and we feel like we know which one it's going to happen at. So let us know your thoughts down there. So if you go on the second float, it's a 1 mile float, and from there you actually have to drive your own vehicle from the main outpost over to the secondary outpost, which is just a couple miles down the road on the main road heading into the national park. It's on the left. It has a huge sign. There is free parking there as well. You'll go and you'll let them know, you'll show them your armband, and they'll actually put you in a van and take you to where you start the float. And that's only a 1 mile route, but you have to be older than 6 and you can't take your dogs on that route. So keep all that in mind when you are planning your days. The season for the float starts roughly on the 23rd of May and ends September 1st. So keep an eye on the website. If they've had some crazy weather, they may not start on exactly the 23rd of May. So it's a good idea to check it out, see if they've already started, so that you can go ahead and plan your trip accordingly. So you don't want to plan on floating if you can't do it, if the weather's been bad or if it's still cold. You can do 1-day passes, or you can do a season pass. And if you're going to be up there for at least 3 days that you plan on tubing, 3 days that you're there total, I would go ahead and get the season pass, because at that point you're saving money. A season pass is the equivalent to roughly 3 days, is what I kind of did on the math part of it. And you can see all of this information on their website. So please refer to the website. It's a great website, lots of information, frequently asked questions, all kinds of stuff. We would love to do the float again. It was a lot of fun. Now that I know a little bit more information, I can better plan for next time. Definitely want a push stick. Definitely, because I am over 13 years of age, I can take my life jacket off, which is something I would do just because I think I would have a little bit more maneuverability. So anybody under 13 has to leave their life jacket on all day. If you're over 13, you can take it off. You just attach it to your inner tube. Guys, that's it with the tubing. I mean, we had a great time. It was a lot of fun. I would highly recommend it to anybody who wants to just have a lazy day of chilling and having just a lot of fun on the river. You can go as many times as you want. It starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, and the last tube can get put in the water at 4:30 in the afternoon. So you potentially have a lot of time. It roughly, for the 2 mile route, takes roughly 2 hours. For the 1 mile route, it takes roughly 1 hour, depending on the water levels. The higher the water level, the faster you'll go. So, guys, tell us in the comments, where have you been tubing? What is your favorite place to tube? Have you tubed river rat before? Is it something that you would do again? Give us some recommendations if there's a better place to tube, because we would love to check it out. We had a lot of fun. Keep in mind, when you get to the very end, you are going to have to walk your tube over to the conveyor belt. So you want to have some kind of shoes on your feet. And just be prepared to bounce off some rocks, man. It was it was a great experience. I got stuck a couple times. Billy and I got separated about halfway through, and I didn't see him till he had been waiting there at the end for about 10 minutes when I finally got to him, because I got stuck in a triangle of rocks and I could not get out of it. I finally had to get up and walk almost across the creek to get to where the current was good enough for me to get going again. But it was so much fun. I highly recommend it. Guys, we're just out here living our great story. We hope that you are getting out there and living your great story as well. Until we see you again, have a great one.